Monica Rambeau, what the hell is wrong with you, lady? Why would you wear a pendant with Sword's logo around crazy ass Wanda? Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach the Nerd. In this episode, we are discussing WandaVision, episode 3, with a what the hell. Whew. This episode, guys, we just seem to be getting more and more into the cray. I know there were a lot of Easter eggs. I've tried very hard not to look at any reviews because I'm scared that it's going to mess with my perception. So I just watched this episode. It is Friday night at 10:48 p.m. So hopefully I will get a few of the Easter eggs figured out. If not, I'm sure that there'll be people in my comments below that will tell me what I missed. So in this episode, Wanda is very, very pregnant. As a matter of fact, when the doctor comes to check on her, she's already 4 months. And by the time he leaves, I think she's not even in an hour, 6 months pregnant. And then she's getting ready to give birth. So like it's fast in this 33-minute episode. For some reason, her pregnancy is affecting her environment. So everything in her house is malfunctioning. When she has Braxton Hicks contractions, she's animating things, even though she doesn't realize that she's doing it. Like she's painting a stork on the wall, and it comes to life. This baby mobile she put over the crib with butterflies. The butterflies come to life. So she's affecting her environment. She blacks out the entire town actually with her contractions. Which I'm not 100% on this, but one of the neighbors, his name is Phil Jones. And I remember in the comics, Phil Jones is married to Arcana, who is a sorceress. And the woman who comes out and says, honey, do these earrings make me look fat? Looks like Arcana in the comics. So we already have another hero trapped in this, TV universe. So that's pretty cool. We also see that the neighbors are acting weird. Like Agatha Harkness is pretty much who we think our wonderful neighbor is, Agnes. And Herb is like, they kind of huddle together and they're like whispering to each other. And Vision at one point comes over and asks them, basically trying to figure out what the hell they're doing. And, Agnes says, is Geraldine in the house, because Geraldine, or as we know her to be, Monica Rambeau, does come to visit Wanda and helps Wanda deliver her babies, which I'll get to in a second. But it's really interesting because when Agnes is like, is she in the house with Wanda, and he's like, yeah, and then like just the look on Herb and Agnes's face is very telling. And then they start making it stranger by saying things like, well, she's here, or she's not from here, she doesn't have a husband, she doesn't have a home, she only came because we're all. And then Agnes like shuts Herb up, and that's when we even saw in the past 2 episodes where the people in this town on some level know that they're trapped, that they're not actually they're in a simulation. So I just thought it was interesting that Vision is starting to see all these signs. And earlier in the episode, Herb is like, he's like hedging, he's doing some hedge work in his yard, and he starts cutting through their fence. And so, Vision's kind of like, that's weird. It's just these things keep happening. Like with his boss, Mr. and Mrs. Hart, how, they keep asking, why are you here? And then, Mr. Hart starts choking and the wife is like, please stop, please stop. And it kind of looks like she's actually freaking out, even though she's kind of giggling and nervous laughing. These are all things that are occurring because, again, it's all Wanda. I know there's a lot of theories out there that, Mephisto is doing it. And I think Mephisto very much will be involved in this in terms of wanting her babies, because, again, they're like the fragments of his soul that he lost when he came across a little Franklin Richards. So we know how that story plays out, that at some point he's going to absorb these babies. And these babies were only formed because Wanda took the parts of Mephisto's souls in the comics and created these babies. And then they actually take on form later and they become Wiccan and Speed from the Young Avengers, but that's a whole other conversation. But I just think it's interesting, though, that Wanda, I don't know. I mean, you have to see her reaction in these episodes. I don't know why she thinks she can carry this out, but she definitely is the one that's doing this, because the whole thing with Monica being there, or Geraldine, and at one point after the babies are born and she has twins, Wanda says, I had a twin, Pietro, or Quicksilver, and Monica basically says, oh, he was killed by Ultron, right? And then she's like, Wanda's like, what did you say? So it's like, that's reality. We don't talk about reality. You don't talk about my brother. We don't talk about any of that stuff that happened. So she got ejected from the island. Wanda ejected Monica Rambeau, who probably is not immortal at this point because she doesn't have all her photon powers, from the island, because Monica is working right now with Sword. And she was sent there to see, probably to talk Wanda out of what she's doing. Wanda snapped when she had to kill Vision, and she created this world, and she's got all these people trapped in this world. Some people that are significant to her, like Agnes, because Agatha was her role model or her mentor. We didn't see her in the MCU, but that is what she was in the comics. And there's also a storyline where the babies, after they die, Wanda gets Agatha to cast a spell on her to make her forget that she had kids. So more than likely that will also be her role after Mephisto, absorbs little Tommy and Billy. So yeah, there's that. Something else to play off of children. I kept thinking about, Mephisto doing that. And then I remembered Jezebel, or Mephisto, who actually she's basically somebody who is an antagonist to Doctor Strange and who actually starts liking Doctor Strange. And I do wonder if we're going to see that in the second Doctor Strange movie. But that just popped in my head too, because that's what happens when I watch these series. All these little things happen. The commercial, the Hydra soap, luxury bath soap. There is an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Coulson was acting all levels of crazy because of this special luxury soap that Hydra was making, or people were bathing with, that was brainwashing them. Which is interesting. And then I think later in the episode, Coulson actually ended up making his own soap to kind of, stay off the effects. And it was a big thing. And so when I saw that commercial, I was like, okay, that is definitely a homage to Coulson and the Hydra soap. And also to Fritz has this framework technology, our training program that, who was it? It later becomes a virtual reality simulation by Ratcliffe. I think it's Ratcliffe. It's been a while since I saw this. And they basically evolve it into this whole escape your world, escape to a world all your own. Basically, you're not really going anywhere because it's all virtual reality. That is such an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. That is a Coulson and Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. reference, which makes sense because they're in the same universe. But that was pretty cool. But I also think that the Hydra soap, luxury bath soap, is an homage to all of the trauma that Wanda has suffered. Like every commercial, the toaster, which was by Stark Industries, and Stark Industries made tech that basically killed her family. So that is very significant. Of course, we have the Strucker watch, and Strucker is the one that gave them their powers, and he was a big Hydra leader, and he was killed also in Age of Ultron. So that was a thing. But like everything seems to be significant to Wanda's trauma. And now the two people that we keep seeing over and over again, because it's the same actors in every commercial. I don't know if they're supposed to be people that Wanda knows, if there are family members or her parents that were killed, and that's how she's, dealing with the trauma. In her perfect world, her parents are alive in some capacity and she gets to see them on TV. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I don't know if we're going to see Pietro. We might. There might be a point where she has her brother come back because she seems to be bringing everybody else back from the dead, including Vision. So, but I think it's interesting that, so we saw, Vision question her, and, he's like, trying to tell her something strange is going on. And she looks at him with this very concerned face and then he rewinds like maybe 5 or 6 seconds before he says that. And he doesn't remember it anymore. And he starts saying really what she wants him to say. So she's controlling this scenario. This is all Wanda. It is absolutely all Wanda. This is some modified House of M stuff. And I mean, I kind of said in my last video that I thought, because with the Beekeeper, which more than likely is AIM, the Advanced Idea Mechanics, the radical tech group that wants to control everything, that Beekeeper could have been an AIM agent with the Sword logo, because Sword seems to be trying to send people in to get her out. So I mean, even though they are a radical, group, more than likely they actually could have been recruited also by Sword to try to get them in to get Wanda to stop doing what she's doing, because she's basically made a huge bubble of reality. That whole force field, the red force field, that is absolutely Wanda. And when Monica gets ejected out of it, you actually see all the Sword vehicles and the chopper that we saw in the first episode, the little red one she saw, in color, should I say. The choppers and stuff are everywhere. So Sword is out there, and inside is not the town. I think it's called Westview. It's not Westview. It is Wanda's reality bubble. That's literally what's going on. The only thing I don't think Wanda's anticipating is the fact that Mephisto is going to want his soul fragments back. And so it's going to open up a whole can of crap that's going to extend into Doctor Strange 2. And of course, the Spider-Man, well, essentially that's a good way of creating the Spider-Verse. But yeah, it was a really good episode. It was a really good episode. There's only 9, so we know that the shit's about to hit the fan in this. But I really love when we see these little Easter eggs. The commercials give away a little bit. To me, everyone always looks at it and says, "Oh, this and this." And I mean, yeah, I did see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. references, and if you really stare hard at the toaster, it looks like it has a face. I don't know if it's supposed to be Vision or whatever, but it is what it is. But Wanda is completely disturbed, and rightfully so. She had to kill the only other person she's loved besides her brother and her family, and all of them are dead. So she snapped, and this is House of M. It's what it is. We can't have no more mutants because there aren't any mutants, but they're modifying it, and Homegirl is crazy. So yeah, very interesting. And I love that when you watch episode 3 of WandaVision, the next thing it pops up is an Age of Ultron movie that you can watch, because it's like, we referenced it, now watch the movie. Very slick, Disney Plus, very slick. But I'm excited. I am really excited for episode 4 now. It's getting real. The only question I have is Monica Rambeau. If you really are working with Sword, unless when you get there it affects your memory, so you really don't know what you're saying, which is stupid to send you in then if that's the case. Why would you tell her about her brother being killed by Ultron, letting her know that you're not, following the script, and also, the whole, it's just wearing the necklace with the Sword logo on it doesn't make sense. Unless there's some reason she's doing it. Maybe she's doing it to jar out of her psychosis, Wanda out of her psychosis. I don't know. But yeah, very interesting. So I'm looking forward to next week. I really am, because I think we're going to learn a lot. But that's what I got, guys. I would love to know what you think. Please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for Jury Duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next in Nerd Bell, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it. But hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.